Right. Good morning all, and welcome back to the studio. Today is going to be a happy little painting, and I got started on this last night, ready for today. This one starts with a little bit of masking. I'm going to have a mountain in the background, and I want to preserve that white for the snow on the tops. So we'll just get started. Got some fresh water this morning. I like to start with 3 things of water. I've got a big old bowl here for cleaning my brushes. This is fresh water. And then this is a little tiny one just for kind of an in-between. So, in between clean and dirty, just when I want to do a little mixing as I go. So, there's that. And then we'll start with the sky, and we're going to have some clouds in there. So first thing we want to do is just wet the area of the sky. And this just helps the paint move on the surface. There we go. So not very much, just a little bit, just to get things started. And it's just where I'm going to have the sky. There we go. Now I need to clean a spot for my blue, or actually hold on a second here. Yeah, I don't need that much blue. Okay. There's the palette. I'm just gonna clean a spot. I never clean a palette until I have to. There we go. You never know when you're gonna want one of those colors. I always have a paper towel available for happy little accidents. Okay. So, a little squeezy bottle of water. Just get a couple drops on the palette. And I've already woken up these colors, so gave them a little bit of water each. So, just gonna bring up a little ultramarine blue. Nah, not ultramarine. Changed my mind. That's a bit too dark. Let's go with cobalt. There we go. There we go. And a little bit more water. There we go. Okay. Just grab another brush here. The water evaporates rather quickly in the studio with all the lights. You'll have more time if you're doing this at home. And again, I'm just getting the areas where I'm going to have the sky. And the sky colors are usually darker at the top, and then they fade as you go down towards the horizon. There we go. And we're just dumping in a little bit of color. We're going to have some clouds. And I'm just adding a little bit of China white to that cobalt blue. just to lighten it up a little bit. And with watercolor, this is the wet and wet. So we let the paint do the work. There we go. And it's going to go where it wants. There we go. Clean our brush. I'm going to go to a clean flat brush and just kind of help guide where I want that blue to go. Blend it in where I want it. Go. Nice and easy. And if you do try this on by yourself, don't try and make your clouds look like my clouds, because each one's going to be different. There we go. Nice and simple. Going to give a little more color right on the edge there, just to provide a little contrast. So just barely a little bit of blue, a little bit more. Okay. Just come in with our flat again and just blend that. Just like that, nice and simple. And as long as the surface is still wet, you can move things around. There we go. Just like that. All right, while that's drying, let's come down here and put some water in. We're going to have a lake. Let's put it right there. So again, I'm just using fresh water, and I'm just putting it where I want the lake to be. And because it's clear water, it's hard to see. So you need to move your head, and there we go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Get some more of that cobalt blue. Just a little bit. Okay. And right there. Right there. and blend it. Again, this is wet and wet. So you can move the colors around using the flat brush, left to right. There we go. Just grabbing some more water. Just keeping it wet. Not too much. I just want the surface to be a little damp, but not pooling. Okay. And I'm going to grab a little bit of sap green, mix it with some yellow, just in the foreground here. We're going to have some reflections. There we go. Just cleaning the brush, dry it off a little bit, and just use that brush to help bring those colors down. There we go. Subtle. There. And we can always come back and add some more color, more reflections, if we want. It's easy to add, it's harder to take away. Not impossible, but a little harder. Okay. There. Okay. And while we were doing that, the sky has dried. Again, I'm under studio light, so it's a little, it dries a little faster. So, okay. Now let's work on that mountain before we go into the foreground. So, I'm going to take a little Payne's Gray onto the palette. Mix it with some of the palette muck. So there's a little bit of alizarin crimson, burnt sienna. I'm trying to think what else I've got in there. Probably a little china white. Just a basic little gray. And before I do that, I just want, let's see, what do I want? Ah, there we go. That'll work. Just looking for another little brush. And I'm just going to get a little bit of color, a little bit of clear water where this orange masking fluid is. And again, I'm just waking up the surface, getting it ready to take some of the pigment. There we go. Let me move to a bigger brush. I always want to be mindful of where you're adding water and pigment. One of the goals in watercolor is to preserve the white of the canvas. There we go. All right. Now, just going to start at the top here. And we're just basically going to outline where the mountain is. This gets a little tricky because the masking fluid will make it a little harder to blend things. It just gets in the way. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay. I've just got another brush here that's just got clear water in it for the transition. There we go. There we go. And as we get down to the base of the mountain, it's going to want to fade out a bit. There we go. And it doesn't look like much at the moment. Let's see, I want a little more color. Now this one's going to need more time to dry. You don't want to do anything to speed up that process because any excess heat can affect the masking fluid, and we don't want that. There we go. And go into my moderately dirty water. Okay. Then clean water with a big old brush. That'll help fade that pigment. Okay. Clean that out. Now for this one little mountain on the side, this mountainette, we're going to go into some of that cobalt and china white with our dirty brush. And that's just going to give it a cooler color, kind of push it to the back, because this one's further back. This mountain has a wingman. Just hanging back. Okay. Clean water. And just blend that in. There we go. You can always come back and add a little more later. You can add more, but it's harder to take it away. Okay. And then back into the dark, that gray mixture that we had. And our light is coming from the right. So our shadows are going to be on the left. This is where we define the shape of the mountain. Got a little valley up in here. Got another little buddy off to the side. There we go. Okay. Stop fiddling. Well, let's see, we're going to try and help it dry a little bit because it needs to be dry before we can take the masking off. So excuse my head if it gets in the way, I'm sorry. And you wouldn't need to do this at home. I'm just doing this to speed things up a little bit. if there's any areas where you think there might be a little too much color pooling. So basically the pigment gets trapped if there's a spot that's surrounded by masking fluid on all sides. So if you're concerned that it might be a little too dark, you can go in and just lift it up with a clean brush, just almost dry. And you can basically define the mountain a bit more while you're at it. Go. Just adding a little color here and there. Taking it away. There we go. Okay, now got a little bit of toilet tissue. Oh, yes, it does. I did not fix the banner. Sorry about that. Actually, why don't I remove the banner for today? There we go. And there. Put the old one back. Trying to keep this one mellow, so maybe a little less advertising. Although if you'd like to go to my site and pick up a painting, I'd be happy to sell it to you. So I have many paintings looking for new homes. And if you like what you're seeing and you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate that if you would subscribe. Now I'm just using the tissue just to pick up a little pigment here and there. Okay. There we go. I'm curious to see what it looks like too. This is something I've wanted to try for a while for doing a mountain, but I haven't, so we'll see. We'll find out together. All right, so give that a moment to dry. Let's see. Yeah, we're kind of at a point where I can't do very much there. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do. I can start working on some trees. Let's see. Let's try a number 2 round into clean water. And we've got some bismuth yellow. Nice and bright. And we'll grab a number 4. I'm just going to come up here and just start on some highlights. So again, just starting with a little fresh water, and I'm just dabbing this around. I don't know if you can, there we go. You can kind of see, I'm just making a little pattern of areas of wet and areas of dry. Just going to bring that down. And this is something, if you're doing this at home, I would just wait for the paint to dry and come to this later. But it's something I can do now, just while I'm giving that area a little bit more time. I'm just drop in some color. Get that a little more water on that. There we go. So it flows a little easier. There we go. We're just dipping into where we have the clear water down already. Okay. And grab a pointier brush. This is a long bristled round. There we go. And we can just connect things up as we wish. This is just clear water on this brush. I'm just moving the pigment around. And this is basically the highlights. With watercolor, you work from light to dark for the most part. So that's the neat thing about rules in art, or you learn the rules and then you learn how to break them. And then we're just using this to add the illusion of detail. So individual leaves. Just let the brush dance around. You can grab a little bit more of that color, that yellow, bring that in. Just bring it down here. Okay. Now I'm just painting. I don't have a name for the mountain. I am working off of a Bob Ross painting. So I assume it's a mountain up in Alaska somewhere. I just wanted to do a happy painting. So there we go. Okay. And that's feeling dry. So we'll see how much of the masking material, how it looks with when I take that off. It's going to be very subtle in spots, I suspect. Yeah. So we're going to have to come back and do more painting on that. I wasn't sure with this masking how much I would actually be able to keep of the pigment, because this is the liquid frisket. So I'm being gentle, but I think it's taking up some of the pigment too. But I was already planning on coming back with other coats, so here we go. And I'm just picking this up with a ball of the masking material. Over time it collects. When you're first starting out, you can just use your finger. So just make sure that the paint is dry. Take your time, make sure you get it all. I suspect a lot of this detail's not showing up on the camera. So I'm getting a lot of little areas of white against a very light gray. I'm just feeling for it. I've got very light coats in areas. You can run your finger across the surface and feel the masking material. If you do decide to do masking on a painting, don't let it sit on there for very long. A day or two at the most, I would say. Because it can become harder to get off, and with some of them, they can actually stain the surface. There we go. Oh, get more. Got more. There we go. Little bits. Okay. I think there's still a little bit on there, but that's okay. I can come back and take it off later. There. Okay. Now, I've got a little brush, 1/4 inch flat. Let's get some water into that, and let's grab a little white, get that cobalt blue mixture, add some more shadows. Let's see, and I'm going to grab a round with some clear water in it. Okay. And now we're just putting in shadows. Just defining. There we go. And we're not just dumping it in, we're being a little mindful. So we want some brighter areas. And on this side, I'm just using the corner of the brush. I'm moving with the direction of the mountain, so where it's sliding away. I'm just blending. We're just doing shadows here. There we go. Nice and subtle. Okay. Just defining the edges a little bit. There we go. And blending. As things get further away, they get softer, cooler. And that same color with just a touch of gray. We'll come to this big mountain in front. I'll call it Mount Ross. How's that? I think this shows up in several of his paintings. Or variations on it. There we go. Defining that little valley up in the mountain. And we'll just blend that a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's a bit more than I wanted. Pull some of that water out. Okay. And we'll just grab that corner, swoop it around, there we go. Helps define that little valley up there. And then we'll just blend that down. There we go, clear water. Let's try and give the mountain a little shape, a little form. Back in with our flat, grab a little more pigment. There we go. Grab a little of the gray. Okay. And we'll work that mountain a little bit more. Let some of the rock come through. It's not all snow. So on the sunny side, I use a warmer color just to define where the snow is not. And it's light little strokes. Subtle movement. Not really the time to be overly bold. go. Just blending it as the mountains get towards the base, they fade a bit. Which is handy because that creates a nice transition and contrast for stuff in the middle ground and foreground. Go. Gentle little strokes, just using the edge, the corner of the brush. A flat brush is nice for this because you can transition from the edge to from the corner to the edge of the brush. So you can get a lot of different strokes out of one brush. There we go. Now, right on the edge here, I'm just going to put down some clear water along the base, I should say. And I'm just going to use that to create little slopes. And with the clear water, you get a nice soft effect. You can follow that up with some more. There we go. Just a little more color over here. Just blend it. There we go. I could just play with this mountain for ages. Having chocolate cake. For several years now, for my birthday, I have for breakfast, and I don't recommend doing this, I have chocolate cake and scotch. I am not advocating having booze in the morning, but as an adult I can do that, and as an adult I know better than to do that all the time. Latte is probably a better choice though. Okay, I could do more to that mountain, but let me do a little bit more. I still want to do more. I just want to define a little bit more. I'm just going in with a pointed round brush. Just adding a few more little details. Just darkening up the tip there on the shadow side, just to bring it out a little bit more. Near the peak is where you're going to get your bolder edges, darkest colors. There we go. There. And we'll just blend it a little bit with clear water. There. That. Okay. And you can always go back and do more. That small brush work is something that's easier to do later in the painting. So if you need a little detail here and there, you can do that. And let's see here. I think, oh, I still have a little bit of masking material at the base here. It's sneaky stuff. Try and keep that on the screen. I'm just rotating it so I can catch the reflection. Okay. Now let's move. There's going to be some foothills, and so clear water, cobalt blue with some palette muck, kind of a yellow. It's some of the yellow that we used in that foreground tree. So that was bismuth yellow. And we can grab a little bit of the ultramarine blue, just a little bit. I don't think I can get this on camera, sorry. Let's see, no, I need to get a couple more. Well, I've got cameras, but I need to upgrade the computer first, unfortunately. I tried to add more cameras, but I crashed my computer doing that, so that's going to have to wait till times improve. So, okay. So, again, we're just going to start with fresh water. I'm going to define some foothills. That's the nice thing about clear water, is you can practice your layout. So it just starts high and goes down low from left to right. There we go. Okay. Again, I'm just dropping it in, drop from the top, let it bleed down. We can further define with the clear. There we go. Just drop it in. And I'm just pushing up a little bit just to give the hint of the tops of trees. Let that bleed in. Drop this down a little bit. Just barely touching it, just to get a little bit of pigment out into there. Take your time. Go back, add a little bit more here and there. Keep things wet. It's not pooling, but it's damp. It's definitely got a reflection to it. Give that feeling of mist. And you don't want the treetops to be too regular. This is wild country, and so they're not planted in a row. They're just dropped down. So this is starting to get dry. Again, you'll have more time without studio lights. I'm just going in real gently with the clear brush just to keep things alive. Keep that water fresh. And I'm working a little darker to the left and a little lighter to the right because that's a little further away. So we get a little more detail, a little darker, the closer we get. Okay, and then right on the shoreline, just a couple spots. Just dip it along the edge there, nice and gently. There. Don't overdo it. Then we're going in with the clear, just to blend it a little bit. There we go. Voila. And we'll call that good. We probably won't make the winter camping trip, unfortunately. We're not really set up for that, and I don't know what life will be throwing at us at the time, so I'd like to be to the point where I can camp in the winter, but that's not fun to do in a tent. So, okay. I'm just checking it for reflection. Okay. Now then, let's see. Let me do a little bit with the water there. Just getting a watered down version of what we just used for the foothills there. And some clear water. Just want a little bit more reflection here and there. Just to define the edge. Of the shoreline in spots. Almost a dry brush in areas. There we go. Okay, just a little bit. Now, into that bismuth yellow again. And clear water in another brush. I'm just going to come over here and do the same that we did on the left there. So I'm just defining where the color will probably be, and then I'll drop in some color here and there. Go. Just the suggestion of where the leaves might be. It's amazing to me. I remember in art school, people would, speak somewhat disparagingly of Bob Ross, Thomas Kincaid. Because they can appear to be rather simple paintings. But each time I do one of these, I gain a greater appreciation for Bob Ross's observation of nature and his understanding of color. So there's just little hints of things. His choice of color And I begin to realize, oh yeah, that is what wet mud looks like from a distance. It is white. That does define a shoreline. Um, so yeah, it's the longer I paint, the more I appreciate what he does or did. Okay. Now, I'm thinking. It's like, how do I get the effect in watercolor? Okay, gonna grab a little bit of that sap green, mix it in with our yellow. And right now I'm basically just defining some highlights. Come over here. And we got a tree. Bring that up. Let me grab a round. Just let me grab a little round one here for a second. There we go. Want a point. Okay, there we go. Just want to put in a little tree here. A little friend. It's easier to do with the round. There we go. Okay, and then we'll grab another round. Grab that sap green. Slightly darker. And while the paint's still wet, we'll come in from on the left side here, and we'll define the shadows. There we go. We'll just let it blend. So I'm just using a light and a dark green here. And we're preserving a little bit of the white, but not much at this point. And just defining as we go down where other bushes and trees will be. As this sits back in a little bit. And we'll just grab a little bit of clear water. We'll blend that a little bit. Right on the edges. Okay. Well, we still have that in our brush. Let's come over to the other side here. And right here. Oop, let me get a bit more. Let me get that brightened up here. Okay, there we go. That's the, wrong color. I've got two brushes of the same size. There we go. I want the bright color. It's the top of the tree. Work it down. There we go. Leave some spaces here and there. Come in with the dark. Again on the left side primarily. There we go. And we'll just blend it while it's still wet. There we go. Okay. And work our way down. that out a bit. There we go. You're just given the suggestion of leaves, or needles in this case. Leaving some white spaces here and there. You can always comb back and add more later. Okay. And then we'll just blend in. There we go. At the base there. And that just makes it easier to have that contrast between elements. Go. Clean out the brushes. Happy trees. Yeah, I don't know the politics of Bob Ross. Okay. With that dark green, and I think I'll add a little bit of ultramarine. There we go. Before I do that, let's add some more color. So I'm going to keep this brush for clear water, and let's see. Gonna mix up some yellows and oranges here. So that bismuth yellow, cadmium yellow, cadmium orange. There we go. I'm just mixing them together loosely so I can mix and match as I go. And actually, let's mix up a little bit more bright green. There we go. Ooh, that's a lot. Okay. I got a big old clump of color. Okay. So we got our yellow again. And clear. Okay. Just going to drop water down as before, leaving gaps. Just gonna throw in some color. There. Grab some orange. There. And by leaving the white space, that provides a place to actually do the shadows, so you get a much more intense color that way. Okay. Go. Okay. Just gonna drop a little green in there. Okay. There we go. Kind of separate that a little bit. Okay. And on the other shore here, do the same, just dropping in clear, drop that down. Let's see, bring that over to the foot of the tree. Just kind of defining where things might be. Okay. I'll drop in some green. Little bushes. Mix up your colors. Don't be afraid to add something a little brighter, something a little darker. There we go. Bring that down a little bit. Let's see, grab some of that yellow, just straight yellow. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab a little of that dark green. Just throw it in at the bottom here. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. And define the foots. Okay. And we'll just kind of define the edge here. There we go. Now clear water, come back over to the left here with this tree, and zoom in a little bit. Good little conversation in the chat. Okay, again, I'm just dropping in some clear water. Now we're going to start defining some of the shadows. There we go. Don't be afraid to leave white space. Just bringing in some more color, some more contrast. It'll start to look like a tree after a while. And then we'll just bring that down into the bushes. Get some more clear. Work around the pigment that's already there. Okay, and define the foots. I'm going to bring this down a bit more. Okay, Just work our way down the painting. Okay, there we go. I'm just using the clear to help guide where the pigment goes. Yeah. And back over to the other side. And just using some of that dirty green from the clean brush, as it moves stuff around it. It picks up a little pigment, and you can use that for lighter details. Okay. And bring it back up. And work our way down. Just keep that brush moving. Have an idea of the tree, its shape, form. Leave those light spots. Those will be your friend later. There we go. Go. Nope. Nope. Put an old trunk here. that. Let's just do a little bit more over here. Drop in a couple little bits. Add some trunks. There. Okay. Back over to the other side. Let's see. Okay. Let's get a flat brush here just to add some water. And darker bits here and there. Again, we don't want to just throw paint down. We want to have an idea of what we're trying to accomplish. There we go. A little bit of a dry brush into wet. It's drying really quickly, so there we go. And I should say I'm putting down color, but I plan on going back to areas too. So okay, other side. And my cat is in the background singing the song of her people. I don't know if that's coming through or not. They have been fed. They are loved, regardless of what she may tell people. Just bring that out a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now, burnt burnt sienna into palette muck. I think we got, yeah, this is the alizarin crimson and china white. It's kind of a brick color that's already on the palette. Okay. Actually, I think I will use... oh, let's do that first. I got ahead of myself. Let's see, a little bit of china white. Yellow ochre. And let's put that down. Get some shoreline in here. Some rocks. Push that up a little bit. There we go. Just putting in the highlights. Keep that one. And grab that brown mixture. Define that. We've got to bring it in the flat with the clear water. Just blend, start to blend stuff. There we go. Bloop. Put it in at the base of the wet area, and we'll just let it bleed up. There we go. And we'll throw in a couple of spots here and there. Bloop. Just bloop stuff in. There we go. Give a little bit of form to things. Drop it off there. Okay. And come back in with our bright color. Actually, let me grab just some flat straight white. Get a little brighter color there. Okay. And then over to the other side. There, there. Bring stuff down. Okay. Just kind of get the shape of the shoreline. There. And we'll come in with our dark color. Let's grab a round. Come on. There we go. Well, a little bit of water, but not too much. and just blend that. There we go. There we go. And just throwing in some details. Okay. Now, just want to throw in a little more contrast in this ground cover. Bits and places, just throwing it in. So just some clear. Bring that up a little bit, right along that line. There we go. That's a bit too much. Hold on a second. Pull out some of that. There we go. A bit too much water on the surface. Okay. And we're just using our dark green and letting that bleed a bit. There we go. Kind of define the edge of things. Little separations. There we go. Bleed that up in. Give a bit more contrast to those colors. There we go. We'll throw in a couple lines here and there. Yep. Okay. So just putting down clear water again. And we're just throwing in some pigment and letting it move around a bit. So just some darker pigment, darker green. Helps get those contrasts going. There. Clear water. There we go. Just trying to define areas. There. Just defining, using negative space to define the trunk of the tree. And maybe some branches. I don't know what kind of tree it is at this point. It's a happy tree. I'm just laying the brush down on its side here, and that's helping me define a couple little branches here and there. I'm actually painting to the sides of each side of where I want the branch to be. Define some basic form. I'm just looking for contrasting colors. Gives it more interest. Okay. And let's see. Boop. Grab some more green. I'm running out of dark green here. I'm going to make some more real quick. There we go. Okay. There. Happy trees. This painting is laying flat. Yeah, I did feed them this morning. I will, oops, too much. Pull some of that water back up. There we go. All the paintings I've done for the live streams have been on the table. I will use an easel sometimes though. And then I can change the angles. I also have a block of wood somewhere. Sometimes I want stuff at an angle if I'm doing a big wash or something. Having it at an angle can help keep the pigment flowing in the right direction. I actually have a video on washes. It's a long video, but there's a really good explanation of washes in there. one of my better videos. That's a long one. It's an hour. And some bits are better than others. We go. Let's go. Let's add a little more color. I feel like this could be brighter. And it could use a little contrast. Got dirty paint. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. Just add a couple little leaves here and there. Just want to pop this a bit more. There we go. There we go. Just needed a bit more. Okay, I'm gonna add a little green. Dark green, there we go, something green, okay. Just let it bleed a little bit. Boy, these lights really dry the color fast. Okay. That might be too much. And we'll see. Yeah, it's about right. Just trying to get a little extra detail. Get more contrast. There we go. Okay. Let's bring that green out a bit more. There. And then we'll just blend it a little bit. These are the nice little fiddly things. There we go. Now it's starting to look like a tree. A bit more contrast here and there. Now it's starting to come together. It's where you can use some more of that white that you left behind. Brighten things up. Add some contrasting colors. Play with shadows. So I just used some of the orange and added it added a little ultramarine blue. Just to cool it down in spots, which actually helps to pop the color more. There we go. Okay. And just connect the dots. And there we go. All starts to come together. Still protecting the whites. There we go. This side looks like it needs more love. There we go. Blend it a bit. There we go. Pop in some color here and there. Put some leaves on the periphery and then just blend things in. The eye completes the image for you. dry brush. Suggestion here and there. Bring in some of that darker color here and there. Just get a contrast. There we go. Blend it. Good. Give a slight shadow to the side of the tree. Go. Little bops of detail. There we go. Okay, let's see, we need some reflections. Some clean. Clear water. Okay, now we're going to step back from the shoreline with the water. Go, bring that down. Drop in some color. There we go. Bring that down. There we go. And same for the other side. Just step back from the shoreline. So leave a slight gap. Bring that out. Clear water. Gonna go into some green for this side. And pick up a little bit of blue. Bring that down. Just bring that down. Need a bit more green on that side. There we go. Just like that. Actually, up in here, bring that down. Nice and gentle. Yeah, plain Stump the Gardener. It's a yellow and green tree. Well, that came out pretty good. So, there's still some more I could do. I might play with the mountain a little bit more. I might just call it good. So I feel like maybe a little bit more contrast might be helpful towards the top, but that's a pretty good painting. Voila. Oh, I've been out of shot. Oh well. Thank you. Those are the fun bits where it's just a few little strokes and you get this really good effect. Mount Ross, yep. Yeah, I've seen it must be a specific mountain that he knew because I see that in multiple iterations. So I hope it is an actual mountain. Maybe we can campaign to have it renamed to Mount Ross. I think that would be amazing. Of course, it's probably a famous mountain and no one wants to do that, but I don't know. If anyone could get a mountain named after him, it should be Bob Ross. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. My goal was something nice and relaxing. It's fun to channel the great man himself. One of my regrets is that I'll never get the chance to meet him. But he's definitely been an influence on my life early on and then later after art college. He was a good person to rediscover. Yeah, a happy little painting. Alrighty. Well, I managed to do in 2 hours what he could do in a half hour. Actually, 27 minutes or something crazy like that. So, yeah. The joy of watercolor. Okay. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I hope that this brought some joy into people's lives. Mystic Mountain. Okay. Well, I'm sure it is based on some mountain, but I'll think of it as Mount Ross. So, alrighty. I'm going to call it good for now. I'll see some of you on Tuesday, and for the rest of you, I'll see you next weekend. Bye for now.